confetti. We're on to the bonus. And I promise you it's worth waiting for. Hey, I love that gif. Alright, so this is my good friend David. Dave used to work at World First. And just here on the right, you can see his career trajectory. In 2016, he was a business analyst and he transitioned into a career as product manager at World First, which was a scale-up, which has 600 people in it. Then he went to True Rating, which was an earlier stage startup, which had around 150 people in it. And then he's now head of product in 2019 at Citizen, which is an early stage startup with only around 5 people in it. But this look at that fast career trajectory. That's what's possible right now in product management. Like, if you grow, especially from a bigger organization into a smaller one, you have the benefit of growing and learning from a team and then getting more confident with the skills that you have so you can start managing products at an earlier age because you have the craft. Okay, this is a great example of what is possible in products in such a short time frame. Okay, and before you go for any role, this is the type of research you need to do. You need to find out, like, what is the background of the person that you're going to be working with, or the team that you're going to be working with. What was their role in the previous products that they managed? What can I learn from being in that kind of environment? These are the kind of questions you have to ask yourself when you're looking and researching the teams behind the companies that you want to join. Okay. Next. All right. So this is a case study of mine, and this just shows the power of, like, someone that goes in, someone that's willing to go further than the average person, someone that's willing to do their homework and do the work. Earlier on, I gave an activity in a previous video for you to go away and write about a product that you love, you know, whether it was Shazam or WhatsApp, and these are like side projects, but they hone in on your craft and they sharpen your skills. Here's an example of one that I did for a company called Freetrade, who is a stockbroking app. Okay, first I downloaded the app. All right, and when I downloaded the app, I took screenshots of every step of the onboarding journey, and I produced a user teardown, literally a 30-page PowerPoint deck. It was actually Google Slides presentation of things that were great in that experience, but things that were really bad in that experience, and things that could be improved as a consequence of that. So imagine I was going into an interview with Freetrade, and I was sending this ahead of time with my CV to say I'm applying for the job. Immediately, they're going to say, see that I have a product mindset, and they're going to think that person's differentiated themselves, and that's a memory. I'm going to remember that person. In fact, I want to see that person. I want to have a conversation with that person. Often, sometimes this is the kind of thing that they give you as an activity or like a homework or a task. So you want to get sharp and having the skills of doing this kind of exercise, like testing your product's mindset. Okay, so that was simply done by downloading the app, taking screenshots, and providing commentary on that product experience and that funnel. Okay, that onboarding journey. Okay, what else did I do? Because I was really interested in this company, I went onto their community page, as you can see here on the right. And on their community page, I was able to look at what conversations customers were having about Freetrade and users that wanted to sign up to Freetrade. I got to understand the challenges that they were facing because people are very vocal there. I even got to see their public roadmap, which was on Notion, so I can see what they've worked on and what they're working on next. And the great thing about public roadmaps is they give you insight into how the teams are structured, because they were tagging different things on their roadmap to say growth, discovery, which gives me an inclination that that's how their teams are structured. So that can then inform some of the questions that I ask if I was going to interview for Freetrade. Okay, so you see how this all connects together and how this due diligence and research fits into building a better picture when you go in for a role. Okay, the next thing I did is I wanted to understand the competitive landscape. So I went onto Quora and Reddit, these discussion forums, to understand what people are saying about it, as well as the existing alternatives. And many people were saying it was like a UK version of Robinhood. So I then went on to understand Robinhood a little bit more. See some screenshots of Robinhood. Is actually a US app, is not launched here in the UK. But I wanted to be able to talk to that and be well versed in having that conversation. And I then looked for UK competitors such as existing stockbroking apps like Hargreaves Lansdown. And I downloaded that and I had a play around with that because I want to go into that conversation well informed. And this is what someone does that really wants a role, rather than someone that just having a scattergun approach and applying to 101 roles. Okay. And the final thing is I want to understand, as a startup, like, security matters to me, right? I want to make sure that I'm getting paid and incentivized to do this great work. So I went to check out their latest funding round, and it just happened so that they just finished an equity crowdfund, and they raised 397% more than they anticipated. So they were overfunded. So they have £4 million that was just banked. So I know that they've got reasonable enough runway, because I know that I don't cost 4 mil. I wish I did, but they've got reasonable enough runway that they're not going to run out of money tomorrow. Okay. And one of the great bonuses here is that I'm giving you this user teardown deck, this one at the bottom here, for free. That's right. You complete this course, you can download this and literally look page for page at how I constructed this story, and you can literally emulate that when you're going for a role that you really want to get. Right? So that should help you think through the product's mindset by seeing this example and how you can apply it for roles that you're applying for. All right, bonus tip number 3. Not all of us are born with privilege or access to opportunity. But what we do have is social capital, which we can use to gain leverage. And I want to take you on a quick journey on how I've gained social capital over the last 5 years, okay? And it's all about direction over speed, okay? I've always been comfortable with going in the right direction in terms of being a product leader, even if it meant I wasn't operating at velocity or fast growth or speed, okay? I'd rather be on a train, going from, let's say, Epping to Bank, knowing that that's a long ass journey on the central line, but I just have to be patient, and sometimes I will stop, but I will not get off at that stop. I will continue on that train because I know it will eventually get to Bank. Sometimes when we get hit kind of like a challenge in the road or a roadblock, we don't get a job that we apply for, we got off at that stop and we act with haste and speed and go in the wrong direction. But we need to be directional with our intentions. Okay, so here's an example. Like right here at the top, this is my newsletter. I've done 153 newsletter issues at the moment. I've been running that, as you can tell, for a number of years. Okay, which shows my interest in that subject matter. If I'm willing to curate this news every week for the last 3.5 years. Next is content. Like, I'm a blogger and I blog about a lot of things that matter to me, and this is a great example of a blog that I created in order to alleviate capacity for myself, because a lot of people are asking me, how do you break into VC? So I wrote a detailed blog post called 5 Unconventional Steps to Break into Venture Capital, where I literally put screenshots and hyperlinks that would give you literally a roadmap of what you'll do if you're really eager to break into venture capital. So now I don't have to take meetings with people that say they're interested in that. Again, this course is a great example similar to that, where I've created this course because so many people are asking me, how do you break into product management? So this course is an answer to that question. And now I don't need to take meetings with people to answer that question. Here on the bottom left is a slide share where I've uploaded a few slides on things such as design sprints or this WhatsApp versus Skype challenge, where I'm literally just flexing my muscle as a product manager and practicing. Like, it's 3 or 4 years ago. Actually, my thinking even evolved far superior than when I was doing that deck. It's not even actually a good representation of what I now think today. But you know what? It shows that I was keen, and it shows that growth journey and where I was at that point. And it's great to start publishing and putting out what you're actually interested in, what you're intentional about. And then finally, podcasts. Like, podcasts and videos are just blowing up in terms of consumption. That is the way that people like to consume information these days. So I've been featuring on more and more podcasts recently because I know it gets me the reach in the area that I care about, which is this intersection of tech, minorities, and venture, or diverse people and venture. And that's where I play, at the intersection of those 3 things. So here, let's take you on a little journey where I can literally show you receipts in my stories so you can see some of the evidence. My first blog post was on LinkedIn in 2015, and it was 10 quick tips on how corporates can tap into external innovation. And for context, at the time, I was in San Francisco working for this company, Elixir. And you can see Steve Newton here is the founder and managing partner of Elixir, which is a management consultancy. And I was out there networking with leading VCs such as Andreessen Horowitz, Sequoia, Lightspeed Ventures, and Greylock Partners, and connecting their portfolio companies to corporates across Africa and the UK. Okay, and I was literally sharing my learnings by writing this blog post. I wanted my friends in the ends, my friends from back home, to learn about what I was doing, and I wanted to write it in an easy to digest manner so that a 5-year-old or a grandma would understand it. The key thing to notice is that I was not a master. I had not achieved mastery. I had not become a domain expert. I was literally just sharing what I was learning. So you do not have to have a level of mastery before you can start blogging. Okay, if you want to start sharing what you're learning as a product manager, it's great to do it at the beginning stages. It's great to start engaging with the community and putting content out there. Because as you continue to write or create content, it shows the progression story and how your mind evolves as a product manager as you learn more. All right, next, literally have my newsletter here. My first newsletter that I ever posted was on the 9th of May 2016. The funny thing is, 9th of May is actually my birthday, and I can't even remember what I was doing that day, but I do remember that I posted this, my first newsletter. Okay, and remember, I'm up to now issue number 153. Like, what are you willing to do on a consistent basis, delivering quality for the next 3 to 5 years? And if that is product management, then that's your truth. If it's not, then maybe it's not right for you. The interesting thing is, in constructing this course and pulling this together, I started noticing this trend that a lot of the times I was talking about first-time entrepreneurs in that first newsletter. And actually now, the course that I'm actually creating is product management for first-time founders. So it's funny how things are so holistic and things come round over time, So first-time entrepreneurs or first-time founders has been a theme since the start of my newsletter. I just didn't even realize it until I put together this course. Got to move my face again. There we go. So this is an example of that commitment that I said. Like, I started really operating at this intersection of like people of color, tech, and VC. And here I'm writing an article again about US investors mainly and black investors that you need to know, because I wanted to show and role model for people to see that there's people that they can identify with in tech, in venture, who look like us, because I think sometimes if you don't see it, you can't believe it. So I was writing more and more. And here in 2017, I think I wrote my first article here about Arlen Hamilton, the founder of Backstage Capital, right? So that started from a blog post. It started from blog posts. And as you can see, I went in. This was at 6:19 a.m. Like, when you're passionate about something you love, you're going to do it, regardless of the time. Okay? And I kept on writing about articles in this intersection. Here again, August the 1st, 2017, the rise of diversity-focused venture capital. I was starting to write for other publications at this point. The last article was in Blavity. This one was in Urban Geeks in Atlanta. And again, I mentioned Arlen in this blog post as well. Following that, I reached out to her on email. You can see the date yet again. And I was very transparent across this email, asking her if she'd be interested in a podcast interview. And the funny thing looking back is that on the surface, it looks like I failed. I didn't bring out that podcast. But what lied beneath was the relationship. And it's the relationship that actually led to the role that I was in at Backstage Capital as managing director. It started from blog posts. Then went into that podcast. Then it turned into this email, like to actually ask her to be on this podcast. We recorded the podcast. I just didn't bring it out. Then eventually, there was a series of public and private events that I did to really introduce Arlen into the UK ecosystem and the European ecosystem. This is a picture on the right and left where you can see our fireside chat at Boulderton Capital in 2018, which was put together and pulled together by the wonderful team at Diversity VC. But this is the steps, right? This is the evidence of what it means. Like I told you, product management is a relationship-driven business. This is the evidence of what relationships can lead to, right? There we go. And you know how the story ends, right? Like following all of those engagements, following the blog post, which then went into the podcast, which then came into this strategic engagement where we did a range of public and private events. Then it got announced that we're launching an accelerator program, which I helped to build from scratch with my London team and my counterparts in the other cities. And this is the announcement of that in 2018. Okay, so who knew that blogging journey and the newsletter journey from 2015 was going to lead into fruits of my labor like this, right? So it all started with content. And the important thing is that I'm still doing it today. I'm still writing the blogs. I'm still doing the newsletters. I'm still doing new content types like the podcasts. I'm still doing public and private events because I'm passionate about it. I care about it. I love it, and it's a beautiful intersection. And I still get to practice my domain and improve myself as a product manager because that problem solving skill set applies to all of this work that I'm doing. If you haven't already as well, please sign up to this newsletter. Pretty good. So that's the bonus. Okay. Before we wrap up and say thank yous and that, please do let me know. Reach out if you have any questions about this course. If there's anything that's ambiguous or anything that didn't really make sense, let me know. Drop me an email on hello@andyayim.com. Thanks. Peace.